Hey guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to talk about my last Colleen Ballinger video about Johnny and Joshua D TV, kind of the dynamic there. My thoughts that I didn't share in the last video, I wanted to give you guys a chance to vent how you felt. And in today's video, I'm going to read some of those comments and also share my thoughts. And I also wanted to add a little tidbit about Jessica Kent. So if you're interested in either of those, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so first let's talk about Jessica Kent for just a couple of minutes. I could have stayed quiet about this. I could have, but I want to talk about the recent TikToks that she's been posting. This is not commentary on like exposing her or anything like that, but today I want to talk about how she is responding to everything that's going on around her, and it really just makes me cringe. I've been sitting back and I said, I'm not going to continue to talk about Jessica all of the time because honestly there's not a whole lot to talk about unless I feel like it's worth it. Her response to this is very, very interesting. And as a former fan, I cringe when I watch her her TikToks, and I try to not use the word cringe very often, but I just sit here and watch it, and I don't even understand what she's trying to prove. I really don't. And I know that some of y'all are also not on TikTok. You don't like TikTok. So I figured that I could share these videos with you guys if you're following the Jessica Kent situation as a way to toss in a little random update. And hopefully I don't sound like a hypocrite. I might to some people, but I do feel like this is reaction worthy and conversation worthy. And I just want to talk about it for a second. So she posted this TikTok a few days ago, 3 days ago, and it says she's responding to a comment that said, "Wow, that M be hitting different today, huh?" And she posts up this video, and I won't be able to play it because of the music, and I don't feel like dealing with all of that, but I'll describe what's going on. So she says, "POV, you're a retired fiend and dealer, and mom life saved you," with the heart hand emoji. And she's doing this like Nerf game with her kids or whatever. She is really incorporating her kids a lot into her content. And let's just talk about that for a second, because I cover family vloggers and all of the issues that surround putting your kids on social media, sharing their image, their voice, their favorite things, their medical records, where they go to school, what sports they are playing, what sports team they're playing on. And that poses such a huge risk to these kids that are growing up on social media. And you don't have to be a full-blown family vlogger to negatively impact your children by sharing them on social media. And let's talk about for a quick second, these two kids specifically have gone through such a huge life change over the past several months. Number one, they were living in a home with both of their parents not getting along, creating toxicity, all kinds of things going on. And even if it wasn't going on directly in front of them, children are very smart. I've talked about this before. I cannot stand when adults treat kids as if they're stupid. Kids are very, very intelligent, and they're very intuitive to what's going on. Even if it's going on behind a closed door, they can feed off energy, they overhear things, they can tell when something is not right in their home. Then they have their father leave the house, their mother sharing everything very publicly, and then getting into this very close relationship with this guy who looks like Uncle Fester. His name is also Jason. And then he's hanging around the house, and all of these extracurricular activities are allegedly going on. She has Mindy staying over there. Mindy raises concerns about these activities that were allegedly going on. And these kids have been around this the entire time. Jessica brings a convicted CA over to her house to paint the girls' fingernails and have a little makeup party with them. All kinds of people running in and out of Jessica Kent's house, and these girls literally lost their father, and then this is like what they're going through. And this is all public. This is not something that was, I found out about it and now I'm sharing it. Like, this can all be seen through her content. And she continues to share her kids on social media. And for me personally, if you are in your healing era, that should also go down to your kids, and they should be protected from having to live all of this out on social media. But she continues to make more content, more oversharing, more this is my story and I'm going to shout it from the rooftops, even though I'm in my healing era and I'm taking care of my babies. Here are my babies. We're having pizza. We're making soup. We're hanging out with Uncle Fester. And none of what she is posting or publishing on her channels speaks to healing, protection, PTSD, caring for mental health. Like, that is my perspective and my opinion as a viewer. So then she goes on to say, I talk to my therapist more than my mama. I'm sober. Thanks for asking. And she's just kind of like putting all of these random video clips together. It's so random. She's pointing to her YouTube plaques as if that's a way to gloat and tell people how fantastic she's doing. Isn't she the same person who has said multiple times, number of followers you have on social media does not mean anything? And to gloat about that tells me that it actually means a whole lot to Jessica. So much that she is under criticism for her own actions, and she is willing to sit down on a couch and use those as bragging rights. Use me as clickbait, booze. I get it. You got bills. And she puts the money and, whatever emoji. Can you guys tell me who's clickbaiting Jessica Kent? Drop it down below, because I would like to know. I have not seen people clickbaiting Jessica Kent. I have seen people saying that she's toxic, she has lied, she's a manipulator, she is a hypocrite. All of those are valid, and it can be tied out using her own content. So who's clickbaiting? Drop it down below. Watching her gloat in front of those YouTube plaques, like, she has said F you to those people that gave her those plaques and built the house that she's sitting in. She has let those people down. She has lied to them. She has manipulated and gaslighted the shit out of those people. And then to sit there and use that as some kind of like, oh, I'm good. I'm better than you because you're clickbaiting my name. It comes off as so tacky and so just... I've never seen anybody respond to... I've never seen anyone respond in the way that she has. Then she goes to show her kids, and her slippers say F off. They're making cupcakes. Again, like showing the kids. Like the kids, I never saw her kids so heavily featured in her content. Tell me if I missed something among the, many years that I followed her. I never saw her kids featured this often. And the song that she's using is, talking about trap houses. How funny. How funny is that? I truly don't understand what she thinks she's doing. But as I said before, I'm not somebody who is in the recovery community. I'm not in the prison community. But the people that she let down and has continued to gaslight and lie to, they deserve better, because they literally put her in the position where she is able to, quote, even if she's not doing this, she is in a position where she can, quote, heal at home. and not go work a normal job. Do you know how many people get out of bad relationships? And I've said before, I think she and Reese were toxic together. There are so many people who get out of those relationships and have children and have to go back to work and put on a happy face and get through the day. Because if they don't go back to work, their mortgage is not getting paid. Their rent's not being paid. Their electricity is going to be cut off. They might have to cut their cable off just to save money. Because they truly are by themselves and they are working jobs and still trying to care for their children and truly keep their kids safe. But instead, we get a bunch of clapback TikToks from her and her pointing to all of the YouTube plaques that are on her wall. I think that it's so distasteful, and I think that she is, like some other YouTubers that I have talked about recently, I think that she is just saying, F you guys. I don't care if you built the house that I'm sitting in. F you guys. And I'm going to keep putting out TikToks to say it. Even if she's not saying those words directly, her content speaks so loudly to anyone that has open ears. And then she's putting out these other TikToks, love isn't worth your life, blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. But let's also talk about the timeline that has been shown of her getting rid of Reese and then automatically replacing him with Uncle Fester. That's what we've all been talking about. People who get upset at one person for replacing, they don't usually have somebody else in their home who had to go to rehab and then he left rehab and she punched him in the face. That is not a transition that somebody makes if they are truly, love isn't worth your life. Like, I'm learning my lesson. I'm healing. I'm going to show my kids a really good example of what things should look like. She is a damn disaster. I think she's a mess. And it's the clapbacks for me. Somebody left a comment and said, I'm surprised you ain't locked up again. And then she has her kids come into the frame and says, surprise. It's the constant, I'm not bothered. She is the most bothered, unbothered person on TikTok right now. If you are unbothered and you're in your healing era and you really don't care what people have to say and you have invited people to dig to the center of the earth to expose you because you know your story better than anyone else and you haven't lied about anything according to her, that's not somebody who is also over here obsessively reading Reddit, listening to all the videos that are being made about her, finding one of the handful of bad comments that she gets and has to make a video. Okay, girls, I'm going to sit here and act like I'm playing Scrabble, and then you guys pop into the back right here and throw your arms up and say surprise. Bizarre. Cringy, can't stand it. I'm kind of done. And like I said, I hope that this comes out the right way. I don't want to continue to talk about her all the time, but when I see things that upset me, and I know that some of you guys aren't on TikTok and you don't like TikTok, I feel like it helps to kind of continue to move the content along. So either way, whatever. Let's talk about Johnny and Joshua DTV blocking Johnny. Wow, I only got 4 dislikes on that video. Surprising. Usually I get a solid 6 to 15, depending on what the video is about. But those same 6 people, they always make it a point to leave me a dislike. It kind of makes me laugh. Okay, so before I read the comments, I want to tell you guys how I feel about Joshua DTV blocking Johnny on Twitter. Because this is a pretty loud decision to make, to block somebody and then that they're going to respond to it and make it known that you block them. For him to block Johnny, I think that it really speaks to kind of how done he is with this situation, How I feel about it is Josh has every right to block Johnny. And Johnny has every right to not want to accept Josh's apology. That is his business. If he doesn't want to accept it, that's fine. My question is, what's the end goal? With Johnny continuing to, tweet endlessly and tell people how upset he is and how terrible Josh is, like, what's the end goal? It seems like screaming about it on social media hasn't really gotten any resolution. So what is desired? That's kind of my question. I'm glad that Josh felt comfortable enough to block Johnny, knowing that Johnny would continue to scream about it and be really, really upset that the fact that now he's also blocked. So it's almost like adding fuel to the fire, but I think that it's also a step in Josh protecting his own mental health so that he can continue to have a conversation about Colleen. Because yes, we can criticize him all the time. He's talked about his role in this, and he will continue to talk about what his role was in all of this. But like I said in this video, it's vital for him to be able to speak about it because he's able to confirm a lot of the conspiracies that we all have about Colleen. So criticize Josh. Yes, I get it. I'm here for it. And I will give him my own criticisms as this coverage continues. But I also think that it's very important. I don't think that it's fair to compare Josh to Colleen and make them both out to be like the same level of bad. I hope that makes sense because they each did different things. And to my knowledge, Joshua never did anything that was illegal. And I think that line seems to be blurred because, some people, including Johnny, really hate Josh. And if that's his opinion, that's his opinion. But let's also make it very clear that as far as legality goes, Colleen did something that was illegal. Joshua did not. I also wanted to clarify in this video that, and I put a pinned comment over there, that with the putting Toxic Gossip Train for monetization and all of that kind of stuff, Colleen herself did not do that. So I want to make that very clear in this video. Evidently someone else did that using her name, which is not cool. Don't do that. But I wanted to update because I received new information and I want to put it in this video. So let's read a few of the comments. The first one says, I do think it's good for Josh to take that step to block him. Johnny has every right to be upset and all that, but TBH, Josh has tried to make amends and Johnny can't accept that. It's fine, but Josh has the right to block whomever he chooses. I think the things Josh did to Johnny were messed up and Johnny doesn't have to accept his apology, but Josh has done all he can to make amends, it seems like. Also, Josh has done a lot of work on himself since his split from Colleen. Seems like he's grown and learned from his mistakes. And the thing that Johnny said about Josh inappropriately talking to a teenage girl seems to be exaggerated. Someone else said, good for Josh for blocking him. What more does Johnny want from him? He needs to block for his own peace at this point. I think Johnny needs a good therapist. At this point, I feel Josh is validated in blocking Johnny. Why is Johnny even stalking Josh's Twitter page to begin with? He claims to want Josh out of his life, but he's creeping on the man's page. From what I've seen, there's been quite a few things about Johnny that has been very hypocritical considering how loudly he's been screaming about Josh. Another comment, in Johnny continuing to attack Josh, Johnny, is taking away any chance of Colleen apologizing to Adam. Why on earth would Colleen apologize when she sees how Johnny has taken Josh's apology? So I think a lot of people have the same kind of viewpoint of this Joshua and Johnny thing. I hope that Johnny can, I don't know if he's seeing a therapist. I don't know if he's working with anybody. I really hope that he is, and I hope that he can take away, like, take some time away from social media to take care of himself. I hope that he can do that, because it just seems like being on Twitter all day and checking to see what Joshua's doing and all of this, it's not really doing anything to help him along. And sure, it might be a place for him to vent his frustrations, but if he's here to vent his frustrations and he doesn't want anything to do with Josh, then let's focus on the frustrations instead of constantly dragging Josh like every single opportunity. And that's kind of how I feel. But I hope that he can, get the help he needs if he doesn't have it already, so that he can get on a path of healing. But I think that's going to be it for now. So if you like the video, please have a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.